Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Dirt Sailor Off-Road. Today I'm going to be creating a Stubby JK bumper, or an attempt to, out of the factory bumper that we have, all because a viewer suggested it. So, thank you to that viewer. Let's get into it and see if it'll work. So, first things first, we need to go under the Jeep, and there's a bracket that we're going to have to remove first in order to even cut the bumper. So, let's look at that bracket. This is the driver's side bracket. There's also one on the passenger side. They have 4 16mm bolts that'll need to be removed prior to cutting the bumper. And after that, your bumper should be nice and wiggly on the end here. And now that I have both of these metal brackets with the 4 16mm bolts out, your bumper should be a little bit wobbly. It's not going to be too much, but it's going to be a little bit wobbly. You're able to push it with your hand. And now once you've made it this far, I recommend taking a piece of tape, whatever you have, and you want to make a mark or a line approximately 1 inch over from this cap right here. And it doesn't have to be perfect. I'm just putting this line here so I know where to cut. You might have to wipe off some of the dirt too under here, or the tape might not stick. Or you could just eyeball it and it would probably work too. But there we go. I've made my line approximately 1 inch over. Make this a little bit straighter. But there you have it. So that's where I'm going to make my cut, all the way around. And today I will be using a Dremel 4000 with a little cutoff wheel. So, safety first and whatnot. Alright, so I can't get all the way around it quite yet. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and move on to the end cap that I got to cut off. And the end cap will supposedly slide into this piece right here. So we'll go ahead and cut that and see if it works. And another tip, if you're using a Dremel like this, make sure you give it plenty of time to cool down, because this thing's working pretty hard to cut through this plastic. Alright, so I can't reach the inside of this bumper very well, because it's just too close to the body of the Jeep. So what I'm going to do is just stick this piece of wood in there and jam it in there. That way it spaces it down away from the Jeep itself so I don't cut the Jeep. Alright guys, so one thing I'm finding out trying to do this is actually getting behind the bumper to cut is extremely difficult because the Dremel doesn't fit back there because you have to go at it from a side. So I came up with a different technique that is working so far. So this is my secret tool, and it seems to be working so far. And here we go. After cutting that piece off, that's what that looks like. I didn't finish cutting this, but now that it's off, should be able to reach it pretty easily. So let's go ahead and cut this strip off right there. Alright, so after looking at this cap right here, it's supposed to go on something kind of like that. But it's not the right size to be able to slide in. However, this piece right here, if I cut this down a little bit, I should be able to slide this entire piece over top of it, kind of like that, and then put screws in all the way around to secure it. So let's try that. So right here where I put this number 1 is where you need to cut a little bit of extra material off. Right above that hump, just go pretty much straight down, and that way the end cap will slide right over top of it and fit up well. I'm going to have to shave this down just a little bit further back. All right, it's on. Alright, so it doesn't look the cleanest, but the idea is to push this piece on as far as possible, pull back a little bit so this edge meets up right here. Because if not, and you got a decent sized gap right there. But let's try to slide her on right there. Over and around it, and then put some screws or bolts through here. Yeah, I know it's not the cleanest, but that's what happens when you have a professional YouTuber as myself. And now I'm just going to drill a hole through this plastic through both the bumpers to make some pilot holes, and I'll put a screw in there and just go down the line. Make sure this is pushed all the way on there where I want it. There you go. Here's my first pilot hole. And I'm using some sharp point roofing screws that have like a little bolt looking appearance, so might look a little bit better that way. Alright, now this should work. There we go. That looks manly. I gotta try to make sure this bottom stays over, so I'm gonna go ahead and do one of them down here. Looks like that one just stripped straight through. Actually, no, it's good. There we go, and that sucker is not moving. It's on there good. Alright guys, there's the finished product for this. Now I'll just have to even start on the driver's side. Wish me luck! Now that I have the driver's side cap removed, I'm just going to take my duct tape again and make a nice little duct tape line for myself to follow, since I don't seem to do anything else right in this life. There we go. I'm going to make it, you know, a little bit bigger than I probably actually need, and I can cut it down to fit, just in case it's too big. So you can always go smaller, but you can't go bigger. There we go. Here's the cap. Could have done a little bit cleaner job. It's a little bit cockeyed, but that'll be alright. So, no joke, the other side took me a good, like, I don't know, hour or so to just figure out the best way of doing this. And this side maybe took me 10 minutes, if that. Because I was spending forever trying to use that Dremel, and I just got the saw out, and it went right through it real quick. I don't think this side looks quite as good, but... it's a Jeep. It's more about functionality. Now the only thing sticking out is this license plate, so I'm going to have to... I'd like to relocate that to the spare tire carrier. If anybody knows a good spare tire carrier license plate mount, you guys leave that in comments for me, please. I know that it'll be all these screws. However, I think it's a little more to say. So, that's really more than I'm doing. I'm going to be tough because this light is in the way. Now you do more. Hey, there we go. There we go. There is our stubby bumper. Thing actually looks pretty sweet in my opinion. There we go. Boom. Alright guys, I'm wrapping it up here. Turned out great in my opinion. I think it looks great. It looks real rugged, provide a little bit of functionality as well. If you guys are curious about this, you know, go ahead and comment down below and I'll answer those as soon as possible. It really didn't take me that long. The first side it took me like maybe an hour. The second side it took me only 5 minutes. It's just a matter of figuring out what works best and how I'm going to go about it. Once I did that, it was a breeze, man. But like I said, so glad with the way it turned out. If this helped you in any way, if this video helped you in any way, please give me a like and subscribe. It would mean a lot to me. So thanks, guys, and have a great one.
If you found the one, you should never give her up. I think it's the way life changes when in love, yeah. I surround my soul with the positivity. That's why I don't worry about the things that I don't see, yeah. These days I don't